Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Emily Hiles, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Navy is Lieutenant Commander Sarah Lazinski. This evening, we warmly welcome the family of Flight Sergeant Donald Leighton Spence Barr, whose story will be told shortly. We also welcome one recruit training unit from the Royal Australian Air Force in Wagga Wagga. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Club Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by family, visitors to the memorial, and Air Commodore Peter McDermott, retired, on behalf of the Air Force Association. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the national anthem. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where family and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved. And here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament. Flowers of the forest, wreaths and floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Flight Sergeant Donald Leighton Spence Barr. Donald Barr was born on the 3rd of March 1922 in the Melbourne suburb of Essendon. Known as Don, he was the eldest of 4 children born to businessman Leslie Barr and his wife Gwendoline. Don attended Melbourne's prestigious Scotch College. He was a member of the Cadets program and enjoyed participating in swimming, yachting, golf, tennis, running and skating. Don completed his schooling in 1938 and gained employment working as a clerk for the mining company Broken Hill Proprietary Limited. At the outbreak of the Second World War in 1939, he was also studying an accountancy course by correspondence. Don Barr was 19 years old when he enlisted in the Royal Australian Air Force on the 10th of October 1941. Mustered as aircrew, he began his training at Somers in Victoria before undertaking elemental flight training at Temora in New South Wales. By May 1942, he had completed the first phase of his training and embarked for Canada from Melbourne. Barr arrived in Canada in mid-June and travelled to the Royal Canadian Air Force Base at Lachine in Quebec. A few days later, he was posted to a service training flying school at Dunnville, where he learnt to fly Tiger Moth and Harvard aircraft. Barr qualified as a pilot on the 9th of October 1942 and embarked for the United Kingdom at the end of the month. As part of the Empire Air training scheme, he was one of almost 27,500 RAF pilots, navigators, wireless operators, air gunners and flight engineers who throughout the course of the war joined Royal Air Force squadrons or Australian squadrons based in Britain. Arriving in England, Barr was transferred to the Royal Air Force. In December, he travelled to Nottinghamshire, where he undertook advanced flight training. Throughout early 1943, Barr continued training before joining his first operational unit, No. 103 Squadron, Royal Air Force, at the end of June. Equipped with Lancaster heavy bombers, the squadron was part of No. 1 Group of Bomber Command, responsible for undertaking bombing missions over enemy territory in Europe. Barr undertook his first mission with the squadron on the 7th of July 1943. Alongside 3 other bombers, Barr and his crew were detailed to lay mines in the mouth of the River Gironde in the Bay of Biscay. 2 of the aircraft successfully laid mines, while another was unable to pinpoint the target. As the aircraft made their way back to base in England, Barr and his crew failed to return. Several searches were made over the weeks that followed, but no trace of Barr or his crew was found. Barr remained listed as missing until February 1944, when he was presumed, for official purposes, to have been killed in action on the 7th of July 1943. Today, Flight Sergeant Barr is commemorated on the Runnymede Memorial, among more than 20,000 other members of the Air Forces who have no known grave. Don Barr was 21 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His photograph is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flight Sergeant Donald Leighton Spence Barr, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozier or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of our director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.